So I just want to go over a few things, kind of a little rant like I usually do. Just getting a YouTube thing going. So tired of Facebook and that algorithm. I know YouTube's is pretty crazy too, but so I decided to come over to Facebook, especially with my project Angel vs. Demons with Exorcist Steve Biff Saunders, now politician Steve Biff Saunders, is running for office. You will hear more about that soon. Make America holy again, you know? And you will hear more about that soon, and that's all going to be part of the Angel vs. Demon film. I mean, this is like a journalist. Look, these things keep coming. We're going to keep filming. And, these things keep coming. We're going to keep filming. What I think is going on is after the coronavirus and after what's going on economically, we are seeing an uprising in spiritual cleansings. Now, let me just explain to you something, because you haters love saying this about Biff, so I'm just going to tell you straight up. He pushes exorcisms. He pushes... No, come on. Let's be logical here. If you guys are going to give your opinion, we're gonna, you know, we're gonna share about how we feel about your opinion. You know, in Biff's country, it's a free country. We can share about those things. And let me just get into it. You know, these start out as simple faith healings or spiritual cleansings. That's it. Really. There's many times where I'm like, dang, I wish I would. This sucks. You know, this is boring. This isn't making the show. There's many times I do that. You know, when people do say they are possessed and they need an exorcism, we usually give them first call. We do like 3 of these a week. We usually will absolutely go there immediately, almost as ASAP. Even then, we don't say you're possessed by a demon. Just because they think they are doesn't mean they are. We've had people with simple spiritual attachments that claim that they were all sorts of things. That's super common. I mean, we get that literally about 35% of the time. 40% of the time we get that. The spiritual cleansing, unless when we go in there and we really suspect that it's a demonic possession for sure. I'm a psychic medium. I can walk into houses and there's demons in here. I could walk into houses and say, somebody died up in the room over there. Or I could walk into houses and say, somebody's practicing magic up in the attic or in the basement, there's an altar. I could do that stuff. So in case of that, Biff does his best judgment, and in that case, we become more assertive in that case. Let me explain this to you. When somebody needs help and says that they need an exorcism, we take it more serious. Does not mean they are possessed at all. We take it more seriously. And we take it more seriously because A, it's an emergency call, and B, if the subject is actually possessed, the demon is going to try to convince them not to cancel. So this is very common, people. If you're going to get into demon hunting, it's not for everybody. You got to have some toughness with this stuff. You got to be assertive with some of these people. And when you know you're dealing with somebody who actually is possessed for sure, or actually Steve Biff is the boss. and he's about to do some firing and cleaning of the house, if you know what I mean. But he gets in there and gets the business like no other. And he is the boss. You have to be assertive with the subject, because you're not dealing with the person. I mean, you're probably dealing with 40% of the person's personality, and the other 60% is the entity personality or whatever taking over. What you do see, which I find fascinating, and this is what I've seen, and you're going to see this in the other episodes, that their faces change, and I think that's very fascinating, especially when their faces look like the spirits of the Goetia or the Goetia, which is a grimoire from the most badass wizard of all time, King Solomon. Let's face it, people. That guy was the OG wizard right there. So we take that kind of stuff very seriously when somebody's possessed. Not really pleasant feeling being in that room. We're dealing with a person that has a creature inhibiting their mind, taking over them, their body. I had an interview. In Expedition Hell, if you've been starting to follow my YouTube page a little bit since I just started, in Expedition Hell, I have hours of interviews with a possessee, with the demon speaking out of her. And it told me how it possesses people. We have it all on video. It says it goes through the brainstem, where, it goes through the brainstem in there. And I kid you not, look, people, paranormal and demon hunting are really two different realms. They truly are. I mean, this is like wild stuff. Dangerous, wild. But this is some wild stuff, man. I'll tell you, they do have abilities to hack reality, and I've been saying that for quite some time, and I have that in one of my books. But I just started listening to this demonologist, Nathan Gillis, and it blew my mind. As a matter of fact, I was listening to him on the Danny Jones podcast, and he blew my mind to the point where I couldn't listen to the full thing. I had to cut it up into pieces. Because I didn't agree with all of it, but what he was saying was exactly what I've been suspecting all along, particularly with an incubi or a succubi, incubus or succubus. I don't know about all the other demons, but I do know one thing. In my experience, we're dealing with a whole different thing here. Those are a whole different thing. They have to torture the person. They have to do all sorts of things to the person, and it takes that energy, and with that energy from the torture of the energy of the torture, it impregnates the female incubus. Okay, for the male incubus is going to go after a female subject. Okay, and a female incubus is going to go after the male, or possibly vice versa. I've heard it during this. They're good. There has been times where people with homosexuality have been assaulted by these things too. So, it's not unheard of that happens. This stuff. So, but I do think that they're a whole different thing, and it's possible that all the demons could be a whole different thing. And honestly, I really think we're dealing with something much more interdimensional, personally, because I've seen these things hack reality. Been dealing with a case from, I'm going to light this up. Been dealing with a case since 2019. She has a relationship with the incubi. It's hard to get rid of this incubus, because when we do, it comes back because they miss each other. Now, we've been going back and forth, trying to help her. We made good friends with her. She's cool. We love this lady. Many people, even big names, won't even go to her house because she has a relationship with the incubi, and she doesn't want the help, So, you know what? Listen, I don't know what her deal is. It's all a mystery with these cases. I'll tell you, there's a lot of that dealing with demons, a lot of curveballs left and right. But anyway, she has a relationship with these, and big names won't even go to her house. So, you know what? I take it as an opportunity to study these things. And I can't even believe the type of stuff that I've seen. I literally can't. I had to capture it on camera. You're going to see it in Expedition Hell. That's coming out in October, where I followed Satanist Jeff Gary, Diane Birdie around with my trusted right-hand man, Hector Rockwell. And we did cases on the dark side. I saw the dark way of how dark groups do cases, like Jeff Gary's CT Pass, Connecticut Paranormal and Supernatural Tracking Society. He's also a good friend. He doesn't care what you are. I believe in Christ, but I don't, I'm not going to say you're wrong for what you believe in. So, I could care less. I mean, I know I get judged for what I do, And now that I'm going on YouTube, I'm sure it's going to happen. Because what we do is controversial, but I believe in Steve Biff Saunders. I believed him day one. And you know what? There's been so many people that made fun of him, and I said, you guys don't even know what you're missing. So here we are. They called me mentally ill. Some people do still call me mentally ill. That's okay. I like metaphysically ill. I believe that people, especially with anything like schizoaffective, schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, I've written essays on my theory on that. Okay? People with schizophrenia are interdimensional leapers. Okay? People with schizophrenia have a problem with a conception of time, which means they're in technically a hair of a second off of a time zone that we are. They see portals. It's real. They have abilities. The question is, how do they control this gift? Therapy, psychiatric, yes, but spiritual cleansings on their houses and themselves on top of therapy gives them a good sleep at night. Bipolar disorder. These are people who bleed into our dimension, interdimension. These are people who bleed into that dimension and into that frequency. So they bleed in and out, in and out, in and out. And these are also gifted people too, that also don't know how, have issues controlling it. So that's part of my mission here, teaching people what I've learned about myself, being a holy man, medicine man, witch doctor, shaman. I know, I'm not supposed to call that. Paranormal police. How dare you say you're a shaman? Shamans don't say that. I know, I'm just saying in general, people would probably consider me that. The political campaign, you're going to hear a lot more about. I know all about his political belief. And let's face it, It sounds extreme, but he's a no bullshit type of dude. Okay? He ain't, brushing behind the bush with this. He's telling you exactly what he believes in. Okay? You gotta have some respect for a guy like that. A politician that can actually say, this is what's gonna go down if you elect me. No bullshit. I believe in this, and this, and this. No bullshit. You agree with me, you do. You don't, you don't. But I can tell you this, after this film goes, I think that we're gonna be a very successful campaign. And I do support Biff Ministry campaign. Make America holy again. Anyway, people, if y'all have some questions on demonology or anything alike, send me a message. Please leave some comments. I'm, doing my YouTube page. And if y'all would like a tarot reading, please send me a message. It helps with the gas money. We don't charge for this. This project is self-funded. For me, this project is about Biff Ministry Group and Exorcist Steve Saunders and myself as a journalist. My mission, though, is also a big mission, is proving that what a lot of people who are mentally ill actually see as real. That's my mission. You're going to hear a lot about that stuff. So, anyway, flag 'em, bag 'em, and tag 'em. If you're in Connecticut area around New England and you feel like you may have an attachment or worse, you know where to find me. Drop me a message. Peace.